educational proficiency gap between Latino students and white students continues to grow. Coming up on Cronkite News, how organizations are working to close this gap.
Plus, marijuana establishment licenses will be allotted to applicants of the Social Equity Program this week. We take a look at some of the barriers it may pose in the cannabis industry.
And later, more than half of bald eagles are being affected by lead poisoning. We see how successful Arizona's efforts have been to help save the population.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Molly Hudson.
And I'm Mia Marquez. Thank you for joining us. As Arizona's Hispanic population continues to grow, so does the educational achievement gap between Latino students and white students. One possible cause, underrepresentation in the education system. We take a look at efforts from local organizations and schools to diversify the teaching workforce and close the gap.
At Cesar Chavez High School, nearly 75% of students are Hispanic. Only 16% of the student body are at least proficient in reading, according to the Arizona Department of Education. A similar situation is reflected in classrooms across the state. One possible cause, a lack of representation in leadership.
When students have a teacher who looks like them, they perform better on tests. They attend school at higher rates.
Only 16% of Arizona's teaching workforce is Hispanic. Experts agree this is a result of a limited hiring pool. One solution, strengthening the teacher pipeline in communities of color.
If college is not accessible to them or a pathway made available to them, it is hard for them to become teachers.
Affordability makes it difficult for many Hispanics to become teachers. The nonprofit organization Education Forward Arizona encourages investment to help 60% of Arizonans earn a post-secondary credential.
It could pump like $7.4 billion of additional income a year into our state through both earnings and also savings on our social safety nets that we have.
On a simpler level, Cesar Chavez principal Matthew Georgia says investment starts in communities learning to value education and respect teachers.
I think if we create an opportunity for students to see that, teachers live a good life and they contribute back to their community and they can help shape the future of future generations, then I think more people will be more enticed by the work of education.
Cesar Chavez High School participates in a Parent Educator Academy, a leadership program for parents to become more involved in their child's education. The hope is that strengthening pipelines and relationships in communities of color will mean a brighter future for Latino students and for Arizona.
Another good thing to come out of the Parent Educator Academy is parents interested in pursuing careers in education. Students paying back college loans will get a few extra months of relief. The Biden administration extended the pause on student loan repayments again, now set to expire in September. The repayment was supposed to resume May 1st after being paused since the start of the pandemic. President Joe Biden said although the economy is stronger, we are still recovering from the pandemic. During this time, interest stopped adding up on student loan payments. Biden has extended the pause 3 different times now.
The state's final 26 marijuana establishment licenses will be allotted to applicants of the Social Equity Program Friday, according to the Arizona Department of Health Services. Mackenzie Allen Charmley touches on just how equitable the impact will be in the cannabis industry.
Established under Proposition 207, approved in 2020, the Social Equity Program was intended to promote ownership of licensed marijuana establishments by individuals from communities that were disproportionately affected by previous marijuana laws.
Organizations like the Marijuana Industry Trade Association, who help educate Arizona's cannabis businesses, say there are many aspects of the Social Equity Program that aren't as equitable as it seems.
What you have is a pending, not disaster, but a very difficult situation for the winners of these licenses because the local jurisdictions haven't enacted or put together proper zoning for them to have homes.
Additionally, applicants have expressed concerns over the $4,000 application fee for the program, serving as a barrier. To the Arizona Dispensaries Association, an organization that advocates for a safe, consumer-focused cannabis industry in Arizona, says the industry is known for its financial strain.
If someone were to win one of these licenses, I think that, that application fee is just the first of a long list of incredibly difficult challenges that are going to be out there. Many of our members at the Dispensaries Association pay upwards of 60 to 70% in effective tax rates because the IRS doesn't still see us as legitimate businesses.
Regardless, the cannabis industry is looking forward to the expansion of business in the state.
Dispensaries across the state are welcome places for all, and we look forward to having 26 new opportunities to welcome in consumers across the state.
When it comes to issues of equity, there's still more to be done.
This isn't over yet. There's a lot of issues that remain unresolved.
The 26 licenses will be granted in a digital lottery ran by a computerized random drawing system. The drawing will be streamed live on the Arizona Department of Health Services website. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Allen Charmley, Cronkite News.
Marijuana is a little closer to becoming legalized in the U.S. The House voted with a slim bipartisan majority to federally decriminalize marijuana. It is now headed to the Senate, where Democrats are already working to introduce their own marijuana legalization bill. While the vote would open the door to radically change how weed is used in the U.S., it is expected to reach hurdles in the Senate.
The Arizona Supreme Court declined to reconsider a request from the state's Republican Party to eliminate the early voting system. The court ruled the case didn't meet criteria for a lawsuit to be filed to the state's high court. However, the GOP can take the case to the Superior Court. The suit argued absentee voting is unconstitutional and asked justices to eliminate the no-excuse absentee balloting system adopted in 1991.
As COVID-19 restrictions begin easing up in the U.S., the Navajo Nation also loosened their pandemic restrictions, allowing more people into businesses for social gatherings. Tribal casinos, restaurants, movie theaters, and other businesses can now operate at 75% capacity. That is up from 50% capacity limit placed last summer. Businesses are required to submit a plan to the tribe's Division of Economic Development before they can implement the new limits. A mask mandate in public places on the Indian community still remains. Embry Health announced that uninsured patients will now be charged for COVID-19 tests. Embry will now charge $100 for COVID PCR and antibody tests after 2 years of working to make sure Arizonans have access to zero-cost testing. This comes after a recent change in the Health Resources and Services Administration program, as well as a lack of funding. Uninsured patients can pay the fee while scheduling their appointment online.
A recent study shows a disease is impacting more than half of the bald eagles in the wild. We take a look at how successful Arizona's efforts have been to help combat the problem.
And the Humane Society is receiving a grant from the state of Arizona. We'll tell you what the money will be used for.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
So you
welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go. Lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
The Arizona Humane Society will receive $1.27 million from the state to protect vulnerable pets. The funding will protect pets when their owners face instability or during natural disasters. $700,000 of the fund is for the Project Away from Home program that connects pet owners with temporary foster care for their pets if they face housing instability, financial crisis, domestic violence situations, or emergency hospitalization. Money will also go to fund a mobile pop-up shelter for natural disasters. Governor Doug Ducey announced some of the money is for educational programming, allowing 2,000 special needs kids to participate in hands-on activities with animals and learn about future career opportunities.
Eagles represent freedom, peace, and strength for many, but a recent study found that more and more eagles are suffering from chronic lead poisoning. Cronkite News reporter Peyton Major scavenged to find out what Arizona is doing to protect these birds.
Eagles are scavengers, and they often feed on animal carcasses littered with lead bullet fragments left by hunters. But Arizona is trying to get hunters to leave the lead behind.
An eagle's unique call can be urgent, especially when they're hungry. But there's also an urgency from research biologists about the use of lead ammunition while hunting. A new study published in the journal Science looks at the impacts of lead ingestion in eagles around the country.
Primary findings of our study are that almost 50% of bald and golden eagles showed signs of repeated lead exposure throughout their lives.
The study also found that the bald eagle population is decreasing by 4% annually, while golden eagles are decreasing 1%. Slaby says the signs for a lead-poisoned eagle are a grounded bird with a droopy head and a green tail.
Eagles are important to people. You know, we have them as their national symbol, right? These are species that humans are attracted to, that we empathize with, and we see ourselves in them.
And in Arizona, of the few bald eagles studied, all were chronically lead poisoned. Liberty Wildlife rescues birds around Arizona and treats up to 20 lead-poisoned eagles a year. It can take 6 months to fully remove lead from a bird's system. California condors and other scavengers are also impacted by lead ammunition. Liberty Wildlife wants hunters to take action.
And when a lead fragment hits something, like when it hits a deer, it breaks apart in pieces.
The Arizona Game and Fish Department off Carefree Highway encourages use of non-lead ammo when hunting.
We've had 80 to 90% over the last decade of hunters in the area either switching to non-lead alternatives or removing their gut piles out of the environment after they're successful.
Arizona Game and Fish offers vouchers to big game hunters for free non-lead ammo when practicing in the California condor range. With the simple switch, more hunters and eagles are living lead-free. And with breeding season among us, eagle populations can continue to grow across Arizona.
And while you're outside enjoying our beautiful weather, you might just catch a glimpse of an eagle this weekend. We're pretty calm here out in the west. The one thing we are tracking is this low pressure storm that's impacting pretty much the entire East Coast, bringing some storms. This weekend we'll have high pressure build in, heating temperatures up once again. The only pattern change will be this low pressure system that comes on Tuesday, cooling us back down again into those 70s and even bringing some rain chances again to the valley. One thing that's really interesting to look at when the temperatures are so hot are the dew point temperatures. Dew point indicates if the atmosphere is moist or dry, and the bigger the difference between the temperature and dew point, the drier the air. We're seeing some pretty low dew point temperatures, even 5 in Flagstaff, 28 in Phoenix, 26 in Tucson. Something to definitely look at the next few days. Tomorrow will be 94 in Phoenix, 60s and 70s in the high country, even in the upper 90s down there in Yuma. Another thing to check out for are the UV rays. We'll be hitting 8 by 1 p.m. tomorrow. That means you can sunburn in 15 minutes or 25 minutes even. So make sure to pack the sunscreen as you walk out the door tomorrow. Friday will be 97, even some triple-digit possibilities across the valley. Saturday, a little bit of clouds trickle in, keeping us pretty warm into those upper 90s. The rest of the weekend will be beautiful. Tuesday's when that small storm trickles in, bringing the slight chance of precip. And look at that, we're back in the 70s as soon as Tuesday next week. In the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Peyton Major.
I'm Colt Almodova. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. We take a look at everything you can eat at the ballpark this year when we come back.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go. Top. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS. It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go. Lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Colt Almodova, and this is your Cronkite Sports Report. The Suns stayed hot as they beat the Lakers for their franchise record 63rd win. Led by Devin Booker's 32 points, the win broke their previous record, which was set in 1993 and tied in 2005. The victory also eliminated the Lakers from playoff contention. It marked the fourth time Chris Paul has helped the team set a franchise win record. He previously did it with New Orleans, the Los Angeles Clippers, and Houston. DeAndre Ayton says while this accomplishment means a lot, the work is not yet done.
All I could do was the last 5 seconds in the game. All I could do was just tell everybody how much I appreciate them. You know, I went down the line from the staff to everybody who was sitting on the bench out there with us until I got to the back where everybody else was at. I was just telling everybody thank you, you know, especially putting up with me. We did this. And there's a lot more to go. But, you know, in this team, we still.
The Arizona Diamondbacks revealed some new food options coming to the ballpark ahead of opening day. Cronkite News reporter Connor McGill looks into what fans can expect from the new offerings.
Baseball is back at Chase Field, and so are some new food options for fans to try. Here today, we were able to look at 28 different new food options, and there are plenty of things to choose from. We had the opportunity to speak with Senior Executive Chef Stephen TILDER about some of these options.
Might not necessarily be 100% my own, but something that's either a classic recipe or something that's kind of popular, and I like to spin it my own way and do my own interpretation. But it's a lot of eating out, a lot of Instagram, a lot of, you know, saying, hey, this was really cool, but, you know, you get, what if you did it like this or change this around? And then, you know, we do a lot of test kitchen stuff upstairs.
Not only will fans get to enjoy some exciting new food, but some new vendors as well. Chick-fil-A, Black Rock Coffee, and Kremley Pops are just a few of the new stands coming to the ballpark. In Phoenix, Connor McGill, Cronkite News.
A wild Territorial Cup matchup took place on the baseball field as Arizona State defeated 11th ranked Arizona 10-6. The Devils trailed by 3 runs in the 5th inning before the offense came alive. It was the first win over the in-state rivals for first-year head coach Willie Bloomquist, and also the only home game for the Sun Devils against the Wildcats this season. The series continues in Tucson, April 22nd through the 24th. The action wasn't limited to Phoenix Municipal Stadium. The Grand Canyon University baseball team defeated 4th-ranked Texas Tech last night. This was the highest-ranked win in GCU baseball program history, and their 3rd win over a top 15 team this season. The victory pushes the Lopes record to 16-2 on the year. Inclusion in sports is the mission of one Valley man who wanted to create an opportunity for people with disabilities. Cronkite News reporter Ryan Blank has more on the birth of Mikey's League and how it continues to grow.
In 2019, Carl Bender created Mikey's League, a sports group for kids with disabilities. The organization honors Bender's brother, Mikey, who was born with cerebral palsy and a backwards heart.
Originally it started in his memory, but it slowly changed. It changed into that I wanted to create the bond that my brother and I and him and the other neighborhood kids had.
The league's vision is to give kids with disabilities an outlet to play sports that they hadn't had before.
Playing sports and teamwork and have fun.
I get to see like everyone hang out with them.
Coming here, he knows the kids that are here, and there's a community here, and it's a safe place, and it's a place to have fun. Everyone here is accepted, and there's no judgment.
Society treats these kids with kid gloves. They want to be treated just the same as anybody else. So that was the whole purpose. We want to make sure that they're getting the same experience that they see their brothers, their sisters getting at their sports leagues.
I'm a firm believer that sports is kind of one of the best treatments out there. Anyone who's played sports knows all the benefits of sports. So when Carl came to me with his idea of starting a sports program, it was a no-brainer to get involved.
When Mikey passed away in 2008, Carl was in the Army, deployed in Iraq. He returned home for his brother's funeral, which in turn saved him from another tragedy.
As a big brother, you're always there to protect and be there. and just couldn't be there at that time. It was devastating, but there's a silver lining to it. Due to his passing, I got to come home for his funeral. The day of his funeral, my unit got hit with a big IED, and I would not be here if it wasn't for him.
Mikey's memory lives on with the league that continues to grow. In January, the organization partnered up with Connectability Athletics to further their mission.
One of our biggest things at Connectability is we take the dis out of disability because they all have the ability, and it pushes them to the opportunities as long as you allow it to. We've been pushing the athletes. That's one thing that both of our companies have in common is we don't limit them. We like to push them to all their ability.
Mikey's League will continue to grow through partnerships to expand across the valley and beyond. In Tempe, Ryan Blank, Cronkite News.
That's all for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Mia.
A new telescope underway in Phoenix will help you see the dark skies a little more clearly. We take a look at a new center that will show how important dark skies are for the well-being of the planet.
Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go. Lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
A new telescope in Phoenix will help bring the dark skies into focus. The new International Dark Sky Discovery Center announced that its designs has been completed and construction will begin in November. The center, located in Fountain Hills, will house the Phoenix area's largest telescope. It will also include a 20.5-foot domed observatory, a hyperspace planetarium, an inspiration theater, and an immersion zone for interactive exhibits. That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.